Action, my daughter, Western Wake leader, Leah Krevat.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for being here to support Moms Demand Action and Students Demand Action in our efforts to end gun violence in this country. Students Demand Action was started in response to the Parkland, Florida shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School last year on Valentine's Day. We currently have 28 Students Demand Action groups in high schools and universities across North Carolina. My goodness. We have 5 groups in Wake County right now. We are part of Every Town for Gun Safety, and we partner with Moms Demand Actions on events like this one. Our continued efforts show that we students are very eager to see gun violence eradicated, and we will never stop fighting. Gun violence affects all of us at one time or another, even if it's not directly. We all feel the loss of lives after every shooting, and not all of them are mass shootings. Some students around the country in places like Chicago and Baltimore face the threat of gun violence every day. In fact, I have faced the fear of gun violence at my school, which had 4 hoax threats over a period of 4 months beginning January of this year. January through April, we had to deal with it. There was only one time over those 4 months that I stayed home because of my fear. It was in February. It was the day before Valentine's Day, the day before the Parkland anniversary. I thought to myself, this can't keep happening. I shouldn't have to stress about threats at my school. I should be worried about my schoolwork. I say, enough is enough. On April 30th of this year, my family felt the fear acutely. My brother was on lockdown on the UNC Charlotte campus because a gunman barged into a classroom and shot 6 students, killing 2, Riley Howell and Reed Parlier. 4 others were injured. One was a good friend of my brother's. She was honored with a special ceremony at graduation, and just a few months later when we went to Charlotte to see my brother graduate from college. My brother, a computer science student, and his classmates all wore We Walk with Reed buttons to show solidarity for their fellow classmate. Reed Parlier, who would never walk across the stage to get his diploma and graduate. I wear that button now to remember Reed, to remember that day, and to never forget why I fight every day to end gun violence. Because I say, not one more. There's a bill in Congress that passed the House and is waiting for the Senate to vote on it. It's called H.R. 8, the Bipartisan Background Checks Bill. It closes the loopholes that the current background checks law has. It's so important that we make H.R. 8 a law. I urge you to call and write your senators, Tom Tillis and Richard Burr, and to tell them to pressure Mitch McConnell to allow this bill to come to the floor for a vote. In a few minutes, you'll hear Representative Julie Von Hafen talk about background checks. We need this bill in order to save lives. There's also a bill in the North Carolina General Assembly, the Extreme Risk Protection Order, or Red Flag Law. This law has been passed in 17 states and in D.C. The rate of gun deaths have decreased significantly in these states after this law was passed. Call and write your senators and representatives and ask them to help get the ERPO bill out of the Judiciary Committee so it can come to the floor for a vote. North Carolina needs this law to protect its citizens. Every day, 100 people die from gun violence in this country. 2/3 of all gun deaths are suicide. Most people who attempt suicide do not die unless they use a gun. Having access to a firearm triples one risk of death by suicide. In domestic violence situations, a spouse is 5 times more likely to die from gun violence if there is a gun in the house. My name is Leah Krevat. It is up to us to stop this, because the time is now. Because I say enough is enough and not one more.
In the world of our dreams, no child is afraid. There's no cause for suffering and pain. We all live as one, in peace, hope, and harmony, and no baby goes hungry again. We walk arm in arm with a song in our hearts and love and joy for our fellow man. We care for the earth and its creatures big and small, in a life we all can understand. While this world may never be, small steps mean a lot. Each one brings us closer to our dream. It's easy to see most folks are like you and me, so we all must feel love and sympathy. While this world may never be, small steps mean a lot. Each one brings us closer to our dream. It's easy to see most folks are like you and me, so we all must feel love and sympathy. If we'd all dare to dream and try to live in harmony, fewer babies would go hungry again. If we'd all dare to dream and try to live in harmony, fewer babies would go hungry again.